I put that whole thing together, and then this is one of the biggest press conferences I've ever seen.
Wow.
And we walk out on that Tonight Show and shoot the angle. Dusty said he almost fell off his chair because we didn't tell anybody.
What's up, Bengal fans? It's your host, Joey Karni, and I want to thank you for clicking on this video. It was an amazing experience, and I can't wait for you to watch the full episode and enjoy it just as much as I did filming it. Now, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe down below to stay up to date with all the Angles activity right here on YouTube. Now enjoy the show.
Let's go, let's go!
Ladies and gentlemen, with me today, a legendary figure in professional wrestling, so much so that he is a WWE Hall of Famer. Now, you may see him striking a DDPY pose and not hitting a diamond cutter anymore, but he is forever a diamond, or should I say relentless, when it comes to helping people. Ladies and gentlemen, DDP Diamond Dallas Page, how are you? And welcome to the show.
Joe, thanks for having me on, bro.
I appreciate you.
A little bit under the weather today, so I won't be as jacked up.
It happens.
Yeah, my girlfriend's family came down, and they all got that stomach virus, and I didn't get it, but I feel like kind of shitty now. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping I escaped it, but I think I just got the tail ends of it. So I'm good to go.
Of course. And this past year, COVID has been something that's affected really the world. How has that affected your mindset? Being so that you're such a positive guy, you're a positive influence on the world. How has it affected your mindset?
I love being at home, so I mean, I've traveled the world, I'll still travel, but I don't really want to. I just got back from Medellin, Colombia, where I did stem cells at Bioaccelerator down there on my neck, shoulders, back, both knees. So I was down there for a week. It was so funny. Everybody's like, oh man, you're going to Colombia. They kidnap people there. Colombia is like, everyone is, are there cops going around and stuff? Because they do have some, what do you call them? Protests.
Yeah.
Have you seen the protests that happen in our country? The day we flew out, 21 people got shot.
Wow.
In a nightclub in Miami.
Wow.
Miami. Never mind what happened in Chicago and Detroit and Atlanta, Washington, D.C. I mean, when people look at our country, they must just think, wow, it's crazy over there.
Yeah.
But, it isn't. It's only in certain spots, and, when you go off to a country like this, who at one point was the biggest cocaine capital of the world, and their cartels and everything was all crazy, they cleaned that shit up. And now those people are the nicest people. Like, I came out of there every single day since I left. I study. There's an app on in your app store called Duolingo, and I've spent 2 hours a day the last 8 days learning how to speak Espanol.
Wow.
Because it was it inspired me. So I pretty much I stayed in when the shit hit the fan. But my company is a home workout situation. So people who couldn't go to the gym, they were starving for something. Yeah. So it definitely boosted our company. We just were at the right place at the right time. You have to understand that our workout wellness app isn't just workouts. Every Monday, Motivational Monday, which everybody needed to hear. Every Tuesday, there's a new workout. There's over 300 of the workouts. And when people go, oh, dude, I can't do your stuff, you'll kill me. My workouts start off in bed, like
Wow.
my DDPY rebuild program. Like I've eliminated excuses. If you say I can't get out of bed, well, I got 3 workouts for you in bed that'll help you get out of bed and sit in a chair. I've got 12 chair force workouts for you that help build strength and mobility to stand up and hold on to a chair. And what I call those stand strong. Then it goes to beginner and all the way on the psycho extreme stuff. But there's over every week there's a new workout. Every Wednesday there's a new cooking show. Now there's 4 billion cooking shows on network television. Not one of them, not one, will show you how to cook healthy, delicious food.
Wow.
So every week, and this is all the shit we eat at our house.
Yeah.
When the pandemic was on, we had a whole kitchen, at our studio. Hell, I didn't even use it over the pandemic. I just did it from my house. Whether it was me and my daughter, me and my girlfriend, just my daughter Brittany, or just my girlfriend Paige, or like, I don't know if you've ever seen Richard Jewell or Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
But there's a character on there, Cobra Kai, called Stingray. Richard Jewell, he's the lead. His name is Paul Walter Hauser. Cruella just came out. It's Emma Thompson. I can't remember the other chick's name. That's Emma, and then Walter Hauser, like number 3 on the card on a huge Disney smash. And he came in for 7 weeks to work with me over that period because he was getting ready for a show that they're doing on Apple TV where he's the second lead in the 5-part episode series for Apple. He came in to lose, his goal was to lose 35 pounds. He left here at 37 pounds in 7 weeks.
Wow.
And now he's down 40 and he's staying consistent for the role. And then we'll knock off that other 60 pounds on him in between other, movies or whatever he's doing. So, I'm constant, Walter would get up and do these cooking shows as well. And I call him Walter. His name's Paul Walter Hauser. And then, on Thursday is the tip of the week, and Friday, I have a community that's called DDP Yoga, one word. I didn't start it. Some of my members did. And it had like 5 people, 10 people, 100 people. Now there's over 63,000. And there is no support community on the planet that can comes anywhere near close to what's happening on that DDP Yoga one word site. And I tell people all the time, don't listen to a word I say about my own product. Go to DDP Yoga on Facebook and read what people write. It's kind of like when I was wrestling. I'll never forget the time people were chanting DDP so loud. We were actually in Panama City Beach. And I came back from being out with the people, and Hulk pulled me over. And he's like, man, you've got it, man. You've got the people behind you. He's like, that is so hard to do. You can't get people to chant your name unless they really care, like really care. You can't get people to write shit on the internet unless they really care.
Yep.
Like write shit. Like I can't even imagine how many pages that there are of people, what they write, about their journey, and they're constantly helping each other. So nothing compares to it. And then the app's full of so many other things. On my workout section, green, red, really easy. really challenging. You know, there's a thing I created I call the list, and people, they remark on how unbelievable the transformations are. And every week there's another story. And some of the people do them themselves. Sometimes we do them for them. And they're like, how is this possible? Well, I created a list, and the list now is on the front page, and anybody can try this out for 7 days for free. Costs nothing to try it. Up on the front, we call them tiles. There's a thing called the list. If you do everything on the list, it's next to impossible for you to fail.
I was watching it yesterday, and it was something like mind-blowing content on there, especially on the DDPY YouTube channel. That's where I saw it, and just amazing. The whole acronym for SmackDown, everything on there was just, everything had meaning, and I think that's what most people look for. They look for something that they're gonna relate to, and I think that's the biggest part of what you do. Is it's so relatable because it's for everyone.
And I've been talking about this shit for 19 years. Wow. When I first came out with it, I've had people say, I thought it was just another, try to get rich quick scheme. It took 8 years before, I made a dime. 8 years it took before we were starting to be considered an overnight success. And it was the same way in my wrestling career. It took me 8 years before people went, oh my God, this guy, they burst onto the scene. No, I've been here for 8 years, not maybe right here, but I've been all over the place trying to, perfect my craft, and done it at both levels now. And right now, it's pretty amazing. We're building a retreat in Panama City Beach on the water. I'm doing my last retreat in Mexico in July. And then we're building this 4-story. The 4-story will be mine, but it's going to be so tricked out. Wow. And it'll be 12 people because there's 6 beds besides my floor. And it's going to be so amazing for people to come down and be able to spend a week in a scenario that they're hanging at the beach, and getting, the best food and the best, some stuff can be one-on-one. There's just so much to offer coming up, and I'm really, really excited. It's going to take about another year, maybe a year and 4 months to finish building, but it's going to be beautiful.
And I think all this stuff stems from something deep inside of you. And I think that's the positive side of you. And I'm generally a positive guy. And I'm always asked, how did I get to that state of being so positive? And that's kind of what I want to ask you. How have you become so positive? And how do you explain that to people for them to be able to get to that state?
Well, it's funny because there are kids who went to school, who never had to read or do anything. They just got A's. Yeah. They were locked into that thing. But then there was other people who had to really study, and they could become valedictorian. I could never be one of those people because I couldn't read. At 30 years old, I was reading and writing at a 3rd grade level. Wow. That's when I started my journey of focusing on how to find people that could help me. And the biggest help I got was in LA when I was 47. That's when I really started to learn how to become a much better reader, and writer. And it took years, and I'm pretty good now, but it took a long time. Yeah. It's like staying positive. First of all, one of the things that I've realized that like everybody goes down. Like, I don't care who it is. The Rock. And I use The Rock not because he's a wrestler. I use The Rock because he's the biggest star in the world.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be any prouder of him because he's one of us. And he really changed the skew on how people look at wrestlers today
100%.
because he's such a great role model on so many levels. But he did a whole thing on depression.
I saw that.
The Rock goes down, Trump goes down, Obama goes down, Hillary goes down, Tom Brady goes down, LeBron James goes down, DDP goes down.
Yeah.
We just don't stay there. And one of the things, if you can really change your mindset, I wrote a book and it's part of the list. Like, read this book. Positively Unstoppable, The Art of Owning It. It is that 6-inch piece of real estate in between your ears. It is the story you tell yourself. It's that inner dialogue you have with yourself. Now, can you own it right away? Hell no. At times you might be able to, but overall, can you own it right away? No, you can't.
Yeah.
You got to work at it. Just like that kid in school who wasn't as smart as some of those other people, but he or she worked their ass off. And what I've found is that work ethic will beat talent every time talent doesn't work hard. And then you've got to kind of like, setting goals, and then achieving those goals.
Yeah.
And I tell people in the beginning, do not set a goal. I want to be, world champion professional wrestler or NBA championship MVP. Like, you don't start off with that goal. Because then you just set yourself up to fail.
Progress goals. And get to that end.
Chunking, like little goals. So I'm going to stop biting my nails. And then all of a sudden you realize if you file them, there's nothing to bite. If you keep filing them every day instead of biting them, before you know it, that habit's gone. And then, I did that. I could do that. And then you can do something else. You do something else. I'm going to work out 7 straight days. That's what I'm going to do for 2 weeks. I'm going to work out 2 weeks in a row. You create that habit. You get out of bed. You get get on the mat. You create the habit. Today, if you look at that DDP Yoga Facebook site, you will see people 528 straight days. I know people who have done it 1,700 straight days. And once you start it, it gives you a level of confidence. And Jake used to say it all the time. When I moved Jake in, I always say, without Dusty Rhodes, it's a great picture of me and the American dream in public, if you will. That's me in Dream in about 33 years ago. I always say, without the American dream, Dusty Rhodes. There's another great picture of him. This is from that night. He took me to a Willie Nelson concert.
Wow.
And that's him up there singing with Willie. If you can see this picture right here, that's when we did a tour. And that's Hogan, Stinger, me, and Pillman.
Wow.
But without Dusty Rhodes, there's no Diamond Dallas Page. Without this cat, Jake Snake Roberts, there's no 3-time world champion. Without both those cats, there's no Hall of Famer, but there is. Inside my Hall of Fame ring, it says work ethic equals dreams, exclamation point, DDP.
Wow.
I say all that it takes work. It's not just going to happen. All of a sudden, magically, you're not going to be positive all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm not positive all the time, a lot of the time. Where I've found that I become the most positive when something really bad happens to me. When I say bad, I mean like in WCW, I finally got there and Dusty brought me in as a color commentator with Eric Bischoff. We're like the fourth string color commentators and play-by-play guys. He also let me manage these guys who are two of the greatest talkers of all time, Jimmy Jam Garvin and Michael Purely Sexy Hayes, two of the greatest talkers ever. And Michael liked me because he met me on a road trip probably 2 years before that.
Wow.
And he remembered me. He liked me. He let me call him once in a while, and he called me back. Mike was a big star. It was nobody, but he knew I loved the business.
Yeah.
And, you know, bottom line is I was managing them. And I said, got to get that picture of Scott Hall. Oh, there it is. Hold on. I was managing Scott Hall, which I got to put this picture up there too. Ugh. This is a promo picture of WCW. And that's me and the Diamond Stud. If you really look at them,
yeah,
that's what Razor looked like, you know?
Yeah.
So literally, we created Razor Ramon in my 62 pink Cadillac convertible, rolling up and down the roads of Georgia and South Carolina and North Carolina and Florida, you know, because we did drive a lot. And, but came up with that character and finally got a contract about 4 months in. And 5 months into that contract, Magnum TA comes up to me and he said, listen, D, we can't let you rest. We can't let you manage the guys anymore. And I'm like, whoa, Magnum, what are you talking about, man? Did I do something wrong? He's like, honestly, it's not your fault. And I'm like, so what's the problem?
Yeah.
He's like, you know, I looked and dressed like this guy all the time. You know, he's like, it's the hair, the bling, the clothes. This is my pink 62 pink Cadillac.
Wow.
My diamond dolls. You know, friggin' Fuchsia Harley, pink Cadillac. I mean, I had holes in my jeans in 1988. You know, oh, so now it's a fashion statement.
Yeah.
Been a fashion statement to me for 35 years. But he told me basically that I was too over the top for professional wrestling.
Wow.
Like, how the fuck is that possible?
Yeah.
But as a manager, you know, and Magnum said, you know, D, it's not your fault. What we should have done was put you in a pair of tights and boots and see if you could do this. And he kind of laughed because he knew I was 35 and a half by this time.
Yeah.
And I had 7 months left of my contract. And I knew, as soon as he said it to me, like, you have one choice. The first guy to retire who can talk, like a Larry Zbyszko or something, you're not going to be the fourth-string color commentator. You're going to be gone.
Wow.
And I thought, I'm going to do what I started out. You know, I tried at 23 to become a professional wrestler. And I just came across this picture of this footage, which is really crazily amazing that I found it because someone sent this to me. Now, in 1979, I wrestled 3 times. I'm 23. And I mean, it's in a friggin', you know, an armory. It's in a West Indian social club. And actually the third time was in TV in Quebec. And yeah, I'm just a job guy there. I'm a jabroni coming up there to, you know, like just like so many guys started, you know. And I hurt my knee and it put me out. And probably the best, because if I would have kept working my ass off, maybe I would have been there. Well, I know I would have been there with Hulk and Piper and Jake. I'd have been there with all of them.
Yeah.
But I partied a lot back then. So maybe it doesn't work out for me the way it ends up working out for me.
Yeah.
And when I said I was going to be a wrestler, that night my last match was managing the Freebirds. And Michael and Jimmy, they would rib me all the time because I'd always sell it so hard. But they loved me. We were all brothers. And they were always jerking with me. But that day, when they heard I wasn't managing them anymore, they walked up to the curtain where we're about to go out. And I couldn't believe how like empathetic they were. Like they were like, hey, bro, sorry to hear about this. So, it's just what you worked for, but shit happens. It's part of the business. Just being so nice. And then I said, hey, it's not a big deal. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down to power plant. I got 7 months left of my contract. I'm going to learn how to wrestle. And they looked at each other and burst out laughing like it was the funniest thing they ever heard. And I'm sure at that point it was. I mean, Michael fell down laughing, and I gave them both the, hey, you're the number one sign, and walked to the ring. And what looked like the worst thing to happen to me, not being able to manage anymore, turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me, because I became a Hall of Fame wrestler. When I blew my back out, at the end of 88 going into 99, I broke my back and I had 3 different spine specialists tell me I'm never going to wrestle again.
Wow.
That's where yoga came into my life. And Joe, I got to be straight, bro. I am the guy for the first 42 years of my life who wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga, but I just signed a multi-million-dollar 3-year deal. This is 1999. 1996, my career exploded at 40, 41, 42. I'm working 275 days a year, not mentioning the 7 nights that I was on the Tonight Show and on Hollywood Squares and filming a movie. I mean, I was off like 20 days a year back then. And there I was just to friggin' pass out and come back and get right back going.
Yeah.
But blowing out my back, if I can't get back in the ring in 6 months, my contract just went bye-bye. Really, it was 3 months, but I got them to make it 6. And that's how yoga came into my life. And I couldn't do anything. I was so immobile. My wife, Kimberly, of course, could do everything. And I started figuring out modifications. That's why my program, my DDPY program, meets you where you are, because I've been that guy. I've helped disabled veterans. I helped Jake. I helped Scott. Those guys could barely walk, So bottom line is, here I am at that, that defining moment in my life. And I have a quote that resonates in my brain. When you're faced with a defining moment, you either define the moment or the moment will define you. And I just started doing the yoga every single day, twice a day, like 20 minutes. That's all I could do it. And in 3 weeks, I started to feel a significant difference, but it wasn't giving me everything. I'm still going to rehab at that time. And I've rehabbed both shoulders and both knees so far. So now I'm learning, thank you, my love. Now I'm learning that, the rehab kind of mixes with the yoga positions. Then I threw in old school calisthenics that I had to do slowly. So I would call them slow burn push-ups and They were 3 seconds or 5 seconds. I built to 10 seconds. And then I figured out just moving, like squeezing, just like you're lifting. If you got the cables and you're pulling 3, 2, 1, and I'm watching my heart monitor go 105, 107, 108. Squeeze. Now I'm squeezing my legs too. 109, 112, 113, 114. Then I let go. And then it comes back down.
Wow.
And then I realized every time you flex or engage a muscle, your heart has to beat faster to get the blood to the muscle. So what I created completely by accident, and today is known more than ever as DDP Yoga or DDPY. I'm branding it DDPY more than ever now. Hats, everything, logo, because I want people to stop calling it just fucking yoga, because it's not.
Lifestyle. Really?
Yeah, and it's yoga inspired, but all those yogis are way over there. Don't put me in that box, because I'm way the fuck over here. And I respect the hell out of all yoga today. When I first started, I had zero respect for it. And that was just ignorance. Everyone needs to do some kind of yoga. Everyone.
Yeah.
And mine isn't for the yogis. Mine's for the people who wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga. So what I created by accident was a kick-ass workout, kick-ass cardiovascular workout, because I put a heart monitor on you. And you can see that same thing my workouts were 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You can see your heart rate jack up, see when you're in the zone, over the zone or under the zone. And I created a workout that was kick-ass cardio, dramatically increase flexibility, strengthen your core at a whole different level with minimal joint impact. My lawyer makes me say that. There's no impact. There's no impact.
Yeah.
But I have to say minimal joint. Scott Hall actually came up with that. I love him. I love him for that. But in less than 3 months, I was back in the ring. At 42, they said my career was over. At 43, I was a heavyweight champ of the world.
Yeah.
And that night, there was a point with Dusty Rhodes. I would vent. Oh my God. He would listen to me. God bless his. He's an angel up there somewhere. Wherever that energy zone is, he's still an amazing force wherever he is. And he would let me vent, And one night I was just complaining, about how, this is 1994, like the November of 94. And I'm like, Dusty, I know I'm never going to be you or Rick or Hulk. I know I'm never going to be the world champion. But Dream, they just won't. He went, got it, enough. I guess I probably, he had to rake my eyes to shut me up. But it was what I just said that pissed him off. He said, what did you just say? Now I feel kind of stupid. I'm like, well, Dust, I know I'm never going to be you or Rick or Hulk. He said, no, D, what did you say after that? I said, well, I'm never going to be the world champion. He said, then what the hell are you doing it for? Actually, you're not censored here. He said, then what the fuck are you doing it for? Dallas, as hard as you work, what you've achieved so far was impossible, but you've done it. D, if you do not believe that you are going to be the world champion, you need to get the fuck out of our business right now. And he kept talking, and I can't tell you the thing he said after that, but I can tell you exactly what I did, because it felt like he reached to the phone and just bitch slapped me. Right next to my phone was a ledger pad, and I wrote on it, as he was talking, I will be the world champion in 5 years or less. And it was 4 years, 4 months, and 14 days.
Incredible.
6 days after I turned 43 years young, I got to step in the ring with Rick and Hulk and the franchise, the Stinger. Ain't nobody thought DDP was going to walk out of there with Randy Savage being the guest referee, putting the world title on me. And Ric Flair, God bless him, he took that diamond cutter in the middle beautifully. It was a moment, man. It just, again, sometimes, like, when I blew my back out, 3 spine specialists told me my career was over. And because of DDPY, I came back stronger. Now, the really crazy thing is, when I blew my back out, it looked like the absolute worst thing to ever happen to me. It's a career-ending injury. Oh, no, it's not. Not if I put the work in. Not if I figure out how to heal my body. And as it turns out, what looked like the worst thing ever happened to me, and I've got so many examples, but this is the biggest one. What looked like the worst thing that ever happened to me has been the best thing that happened to me. But not just me and everybody who do my program is the best thing happened. I mean, if you saw, like, I do a lot right now. It's Father's Day, so I'm doing like 10 to 15 cameos a day. And each one of them, I ask them for a review at the end. And I don't do a cameo that's like 45 seconds. They'll flash to me if I haven't done anything, and they're getting towards the end. They'll go, make someone's day and spend 30 seconds on a cameo. I've never done a cameo that's under 3.5 minutes. And most of them are 6 to 8 to 10 to 12, 15 minutes. Because these are people who do my program.
Yeah.
That also are wrestling fans. And some are people who just do my program, and some are just wrestling fans. But when you read my reviews on Cameo, they are crazy heartfelt, because I took the time to personalize it. And I might tell the Dusty story. I might tell the Macho story. I might just talk about how I blew my back out. I might tell Ric Flair story. There's so many of them. And, I opened up with a whole, it's me, the wrestling shit. And within 30 seconds, we're having a conversation.
Yeah.
And super. And I'm keep watching another cameo after another one pop up. That's why I'm doing that. But that's how I stay positive, bro. Because I know I've lived it so many times. I know what looks like the worst thing that ever happened to me. If I just control my mindset.
Yeah.
If I just own the story I tell myself, it could be the best thing that ever happened to me. I just got to keep that attitude and move forward. I just talked to a guy. Sometimes people on Cameo, they hit me with stuff that's hard to do. Like, my dad's got cancer, stage 4. I know you could pick him up. That's hard. That's hard to do, but I do it.
Yeah.
And there I go deep. But, everything and anything can literally, anybody can get over it. Anybody can pull through it. Yeah. And what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Like, that's a cliche, but cliches are cliches because they're real. Yeah. Oh, wait. So let me tell I'm going to tell you one thing. I want to show you something. So when I tried wrestling, I was 29, right? 23. 1979. I've talked about it occasionally. And one day at my performance center, because anybody can get the DDP Yoga Performance Center's address and send me shit, you know? And this guy sends me a pamphlet. And I'm so glad I can't find a pamphlet anymore, but I took a picture of it. And this is the card from the West Indian Social Club wrestling show. And if you look, you'll see 250-pound, handsome Dallas Page, December 7th, 1979. Wow. Now, also look at the top guy, Tito Torres. He was the guy who trained me. Yeah, I learned nothing. I was up there one day a week. And it wasn't Tito's fault, it's mine, because I could only get up there one day a week. And I probably wrestled in the ring 8 times before he gave me my first match.
Yeah.
Like, had to be brutal to watch. But I was such a character playing a heel. There was some things in it were okay. But I get a cameo yesterday from this brothers for their dad for Father's Day. And at the end of it, he said he used to wrestle in the 70s with Tito Torres.
Wow.
I pulled that up to show those guys. They had to shit their pants.
Wow.
That was like a 15 to 16 minute cameo. It was, because there were so many things that were rolling through my mind, plus things they wanted me to say. But that was just a bit part. Wow. But I'm sure that made Eddie's day. You know?
Imagine. Now, I do want to touch a little bit on the documentary Relentless, because that, to me, one of, if not the best documentary I think I've ever watched. There's a quote at the beginning. You're walking with your sunglasses, you got your leather jacket on, you're walking down the street, and there's a quote that you say, and there's one thing the naysayers didn't count on, and that's my work ethic and my desire to prove them wrong. I think that is really like the life slogan for you.
Yeah. And
the whole thing just beautifully done. The entire thing, a reflection of not only your life, but your work. What can you describe the moment you watched that for the first time? Like that, after watching it full all the way through, what was your reaction? Like that instant feeling that came to you?
Oh, it's because it's really the last 20 years of my life.
Yeah.
And what I put into that, it's super powerful, to be watching your own work. And this all came together because one of my guys who's now is off on his own, but we're still super tight. I brought him in to work with me when he was 22. His name was Nathan Mowry. He's a director. He said, "Hey man, I want to put together, like how DDP Yoga came together. I want to do like a mini doc." Yeah. And after the second draft, he said it to my business partner, Steve Yu, who's the guy who will oversee everything else that will come out. And he said, "Hey, take a look at this. I think we have something more than just talking about where the company comes from." Yeah. And I watched it. And it was probably only about 23 minutes. And I was like, wow, dude, we got a lot more footage than that. And he was like, yeah. He goes, "I think this is going to be something really special." Yeah. And then it took 4 more years because we do a lot of stuff, but maybe it was 3 more years. Because we're never in a hurry to put something out. We don't have to go out till it's ready. Yeah. Like, I'm sure you've seen the resurrection of Jake the Snake as well. And that can make me get choked up and teared up watching it every time.
That's how I got watching your documentary. I mean, there was moments in there, Jake announcing he's going into the Hall of Fame, like getting all of that raw footage that you're never going to get again. I mean, just some stuff that special moments,
Yeah. Yeah, man. And there's so much like God, I just cannot believe, like, because I've never known Jake sober for 8 years, but now I do.
Yeah.
So we'll just talk and bullshit about nothing sometimes. Or he's got something for me, or I got something for him. Jake didn't have his license for 20 some years. Maybe he was 20, maybe he was closer to 30 because he didn't want to get caught drinking and driving.
Yeah.
Because he was always fucked up. But even when he got sober, he still didn't do it. But about 2 years ago, he did it. And, he's got this sweet old Cadillac, super sweet. And he's got a truck too. And he's living on his own, and now he's getting back with one of his ex-wives who, they really truly loved each other. It was just Jake being Jake. That, when you're an addict and you ain't got control of it, it's very dark for the rest of the family. So bottom line is, they're putting together a really great relationship again, which just goes to show you, man, some people just really love each other. But they're not going to love that guy or that girl who's an addict. Because at some point you go, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
And you never go back to it. But Jake is doing so amazing.
Yeah.
And I love that a lot of the people who watch, Resurrection will watch Relentless. And I wanted people to see that, I'm sure a lot of people thought, oh, DDP starts a fitness company. Of course, it's going to explode because of what he did in wrestling. Like, fuck no. It was
hard on
hard.
wrestling first, it's all the work.
Yeah, man. It was hard. It took 8 years to be an overnight success in professional wrestling. When I started back as a manager and color commentary, that was 1988. And my career took off at the end of 96.
Wow.
For DDP Yoga, it took me closer to 9 years to become an overnight success, because I'd done that video of Arthur Borman, the disabled veteran. I'd done that 4 years before, but Steve's the storyteller. Steve Yu is genius when it comes to telling stories.
That YouTube
He's
video,
real.
Something, man. That
yeah.
You had a kid to cry just watching that. I mean, that is something it's relatable because it shows that anybody can do it. And it's just one of those powerful, I don't know, the numbers speak for itself, being over, 900 million.
Yeah, 9. That's just, we're like right at 1 billion views.
Yeah. Between
all the people that have taken that. It's been put in 37 different languages. It's really amazing. And it's just, I inspired one guy and he has inspired millions, and not just to do my program, to do other stuff. What's great about my program, people who are beat up or overweight, and this is never a weight loss program. This is a healing your body program. But before you know it, guys who couldn't do anything before now may be on the jiu-jitsu floor again. Yeah. Maybe they're doing those mutters. Maybe they decided that now they've got this, they want to do that. So DDPY is always their base, because this is what's going to keep you whole. And these are the things you want to do, go do them. That's what I want to give. For me, it was so I could go out and wrestle, which means so I can go out and beat the fuck out of my body.
I want to ask you about Jake, and I'll start to wrap up here. You've seen the worst from Jake Roberts, and you've also seen the best from Jake Roberts. And how hard was it to be in the mud with someone that you idolized? I mean, you idolized him. Seeing him go through such pain, and I guess you can say like self-torture, being an addict. What did that do to you personally, seeing all those different, the best and the worst?
Well, it was years of seeing that, and I would try to help him. He was a very proud guy, so he never really wanted to borrow money unless he had money coming in. Yeah. So he'd sell me shit, And one of the really cool things, he sold me this beautiful glass sculpture thing. It was like freaking 10 grand and probably cost him 20, you know, and it was something from him and his second wife. And of course, when Kimberly and I split, she loved that and I gave it to her. So she took it. But when she saw Jake turn his life around, she sent it to him.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, going through it, if you go back and you watch Resurrection, you can see sometimes it's exhausting.
It's tough.
You know, it's exhausting.
Even seeing the documentary that A&E did for him, I mean, the most recent one, that too, it showed a lot of different sides. A lot of
Yeah. But it also shows where he is today, which is
exactly
really strong and
he loves pro wrestling.
happy. Oh, loves pro wrestling still, but he loves himself. And that's, I never thought I'd meet that Jake. You know, discipline is the truest form of self-love. It's, you know, not taking the pleasures on now for bigger rewards to come. Discipline is what helps you achieve everything you ever wanted. And if you go back to where you failed, you stopped disciplining yourself. You stopped parenting yourself.
Yeah.
And if you want a freaking big pie in the sky goal, and you set all those smaller ones to get there, every one of them are going to have to do with discipline. Every single one of them are going to have to do with discipline. So what's your last question, bro?
I got one last question, and I got a thing I want to tell you here. But I want to talk about your Hall of Fame induction. What was that moment like, getting that call that you'd be inducted into the Hall of Fame? What went through your mind, like just all at once there?
Well, for starters, I didn't have any idea, because normally they let you know about the Hall of Fame in January or February.
Yeah.
They let you know like right before. This is October, and I was in my hometown, and they were doing a video on me. Like WWE wanted to bury WCW when we got there.
Yeah.
It was business. It wasn't me personally. I took the brunt of it, but I knew if I just shut my mouth, didn't complain like so many other guys do, you know, on this show or that show, put down the company, you know,
Yeah.
now that they own that company, they're going to have to put me in that Hall of Fame at some point, you know?
Yeah.
How could you not? No one's ever had my story. No one. And it's when we started kicking their ass is when my career blew up. It wasn't like it blew up after, you know, they were beating us again. It was as 1996, 1997, 1998. I was on top the whole time, starting in 97. So getting to come back and, you know, do so many things they had me do, from the Rumble, you know, inducting Jake, the very best of Nitro. That was where the really good stuff, you know, started. And I started because I met everybody there. I'm tight with everybody there.
Yeah.
You know, Triple H and I go way back. And when he called me when I was filming in my hometown of Point Pleasant, New Jersey, I was just like, hey, bro, because I put a call into him. I thought he was just calling me back.
Yeah.
And he started talking about my career, you know, and like, God, you know, 35 and a half years old, he's going to start wrestling. What the hell is he thinking?
Yeah.
And then he starts talking about my work ethic and blah, blah, blah. And at some point, I started thinking, is this that call?
Wow.
And I don't want to say it is because I don't know. But they're filming me. And at some point he says, we're going to put you in. Dusty Rhodes said, Dean, there's only two things that are real in our business. And one is winning your very first world championship title. And two is that Hall of Fame ring. So,
and chills just hearing that.
Just Dusty was gone. And I knew Dusty wasn't doing well because he wanted to put me in the Cauliflower Alley Club. And he was gone by the time this happened. And now we're going to do the Hall of Fame speech. And they brought Eric Bischoff in, which couldn't have been a better, replacement. And he called himself a replacement, because he knew it should have been Dream. But Eric did such an amazing job. And I really felt good that he said, being my friend, being one of my best friends was not a help to me. And he said I had to work 2 times harder than anybody. It was more like 5, because he wasn't going to do the nepotism thing with me. And he even told me one time, like, you should go to New York. I'll give you a release. Get over it. And when you come back, you'll be able to pay you what you think you deserve. And I was like, I ain't going nowhere. Jake thinks I'm going to be a top guy. Dusty thinks I'm going to be a top guy. And then Hulk had said it to me in a tour in Germany. And he said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Because it's not this year, next year, the year after, but somewhere down the line, you have the ability to draw huge money with me.
Wow.
And man, if you don't think I started manifesting that into a reality, and then the whole Rodman thing where he comes in, and I'm super tight with Malone, and I put that whole thing together, and then this is one of the biggest press conferences I've ever seen.
Wow.
And we walk out on that Tonight Show and shoot the angle. Dusty said he almost fell off his chair because we didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Rodman and Hogan are on the Tonight Show, and on walks DDP and Karl Malone and shoot our angle.
Yeah.
Turned out being the second biggest pay-per-view in the history of the company.
Wow.
Yeah. So again, I tell people all the time, just don't think it, ink it, burn it into your brain, write it down, own it. And every single thing that I've ever said has happened, except for when I came up with the idea of People's Champion versus People's Champion. That's what should have happened. And Vince wanted me in that stalker thing because they wanted to beat WCW. They wanted to beat the company down.
Yeah.
I never thought that because, it's money. Like, we're going to draw huge money, me and The Rock, but it wasn't about that. It was like, you guys bitch slapped us for 83 weeks straight. Now we're not going to put you over. And I get it. It was just business. I took it personally in the beginning, but later on when I removed myself, I realized it wasn't me. It was whoever that guy was. And I was the guy. So the greatest thing that came out of that, remember, sometimes something happens to me. It looks like it's the worst thing that ever happened to me, but it turns out to be the best. Like what Vince McMahon taught me, you can never be afraid to walk away from the table. I had all the coins. I could have got to do whatever I wanted to. I just wouldn't have done it. Like that would have been my skew today.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it till it's perfectly laid out.
Yeah.
Not doing it. But I learned you can't be afraid to walk away from the table. What I should have done was got up. When Vince said, I want you to stalk the Undertaker's wife, and he's looking across from one of the most beautiful women ever, not just professional wrestling, one of the most beautiful women ever, my first ex-wife. Like, if I wasn't there to be on a team, like I was there to be part of the team.
Yeah.
But in WCW, I fought for everything. Fought. If I would have been in WCW mindset and Vince said, we want you to stalk Undertaker's wife, I'd have looked at him, looked at her, looked back at him and said, Vince, are you looking at my wife? Like, I'm going to stalk some other cat's wife. Everybody knows she's my wife.
Yeah.
Not, but what I should have said was I should have got up, shook their hands and said, love the idea, but not for DDP. When you want to do People's Champion versus People's Champion, call me. And I don't want to give a shit if I put Rock over every single night. It would have just got bigger and bigger and bigger. It would have got better and better and better. Yeah. And that's what I learned, because once I got through all that, because it takes a time where you're going to get sucked down by emotional gravity.
Yeah. And
then you let it go and you start coming up. What did I learn? I can't tell you how many people have wanted to invest in my company. I mean, I can't tell you. This company today, worth around 35, 40 million, from nothing. From nothing.
Hard work.
Yeah. Hard work and great product and real stories. Like, I'm not into this for the money. I did it for nothing. For 10 years, I helped people, helped train them. I still do it today. I call people all the time. I can't even begin to tell you how many people send me what they eat. They spent, friggin' whatever it is for the app, $8.99 a month. And so many of them, because I just need to see, I'm trying to help make them accountable.
Yeah.
And every one of those people have an unbelievable story. Because again, just someone cares. And I can't do it for everybody, but I reach out on my DDP Yoga members site. I leave comments for people all day long. I'll find somebody that I created Fabulous Fridays. Like, it's Motivational Monday, new workout every Tuesday. Wednesday is new cooking show. Thursday is tip of the week. And Friday is Fabulous Friday, where I go on that Facebook site and I just read what people write and put up there. And it's just as powerful as Motivational Mondays, which is super cool.
Yeah.
And, it's changing lives. More importantly, it's helping people own their lives. And that's what it means to me, like this program and what we're doing. So I hope that gave you a little insight, my friend.
Of course. And I want to leave you with this, because I know that you look at the reviews. I know that they mean so much to you. And I want to read one that I have here, and that is what I'll leave you with. It's titled, Not Every Superhero Wears a Cape. Not Every Superhero Can Be Relentless. And it says, while positivity is sometimes difficult to find, one at least can embrace it for 63 minutes while watching this beautifully crafted story. Not only is DDP a generational influence, but he continues to give with this documentary because it teaches us all how to be better for ourselves and each other. I recommend this piece of content to anyone for looking for the light to follow, the story to relate to, that hero you always needed. I've been in dark places before looking for that sign of hope. This is it. Diamond Dallas Page changed my way of thinking, and to me, he's a hero. And that was my review that I put on there. So
wow, dude. That's powerful. That's powerful. And, you know, you can't make people write that kind of shit. Like, if you look at the reviews, that maybe out of the hundreds that are there, you know, maybe 15 or 20 of them are, this is awesome, love this documentary. But the other hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them are like that.
Yeah.
They're like long paragraphs.
Yeah.
You know, you can't make people do that.
Nope.
They got to do it because they're moved to action. And I appreciate that review, brother. That's powerful.
I appreciate that.
Are you doing my program?
I'm going to start. This whole pandemic, I've been looking for that one thing. And after I saw the documentary, that kind of set me off. And then I saw the program that you have now with the app, and I've been interested in it. And, you know, after this conversation, that just verified everything for me. That's the thing.
All right. So let me ask you this, because, you know, it's not like you have any weight to lose or anything like that. I've got, if you're going to give me you for 90 days, you're going to give me you for 90 days, I will set you up with the program. Won't cost you anything. And I'm going to set you up with my new jacked straps. Jacked straps are BFR, which is blood flow restriction.
Wow.
And it's going to be something, no one's seen me promote it or anything yet. I'm building my fortress of testimonies. And if you're really willing to put the work out, no weights, just you, your body weight, and these straps that jack up. Let me show you a picture. Tommaso, you know, Tommaso Ciampa is.
I saw your post.
Right? Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just going to put that up there so people can see. Now, he's still hitting weights too, but, you know, wearing the straps most of the times. And come on, where are you, Tommaso? I don't know where the hell he is. But he looks amazing.
I don't think I've ever seen him in better shape than what he is right now. That guy.
Yeah, it's like he's ready for the Olympia fitness, you know, deal. Not the Olympia, you know, bodybuilder, but the fitness. He's ready for it. But talk to Marlon. He'll get it straight through me. We'll get you hooked up with him. Only if you're going to commit. Like, commit.
I'm in. I'm telling you, my work ethic. It's something that I relate to, seeing it through, you know, Relentless and seeing through all your content. It's something that I relate to, is that work ethic, that, you know, never stopping, keep going regardless of what comes your way. And that, to me, I think is the biggest takeaway. And that's how my work ethic is. So. Okay.
So you're going to do some pictures. Marlon will get you to me. I'll get back to you. I'll get it all to you, but just tell Marlon DDP wants to get to be on the program and jack straps and wants to talk to me. And he'll hook it up. All right, bro. Anybody else out there, go to DDPY.com or DDPYoga.com. They both work. And check out what we got. The app is the bomb. You can try it for 7 days. It costs you nothing. So give it a shot. Try it out. And first thing, do that list. And then you'll really see, like, this shit's serious. And it can really not just change your life, but help you own your life. All right, brother. Catch you later, and we'll talk in not 90 days. See ya. Bang.
Thank you. Have a good one.
See you, buddy.
And before you go, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below to stay up to date with the next big interview right here on the Angle Podcast.